Hey, Marcel Ernie Racing News, February 23rd, 2023, China election interference, and Trudeau is targeting the whistleblower at CSIS. So instead of doing the job of the Prime Minister to maintain the sovereignty and control of Canada's borders and prevent outside influence in our elections from China or wherever, Trudeau is actually more angry about the CSIS leak, about him not doing anything about the Chinese interference. So let's get into the story, guys. Well, forget about being outraged at allegations of China interfering in Canada's last two elections. Instead, Justin Trudeau wants to know who in CSIS is leaking to the media. See, Trudeau is not overly concerned with the crime. He wants to find out who's exposing his cover-up. If you remember, last fall, Global News reported on CSIS briefing Trudeau on the Chinese interference. In Canada's 2019 election, there were specific allocations, including that China funneled illegal donations to 11 candidates, both Liberal and Conservative. Now, of these 11 candidates who were seen more sympathetic to the dictators in Beijing, well, Trudeau denied he ever received such briefings, said he didn't know anything about money being sent from China's consulate in Toronto to a number of candidates. See, not only was there interference in 2019, but also in the 2021 campaign where China interfered to try and help Trudeau's Liberal Party remain in power. And these boasts came from Chinese diplomats about defeating Conservative MPs and candidates at odds with Beijing. They also reported that 11 candidates who received the illegal funding, donations in secret in 2019, broke down to 9 Liberals and 2 Conservatives that were friendly with Beijing. Now, the Globe never revealed the identity of these candidates and who got the money. And of course, the government refuses to speak about it. And Trudeau's reaction to all of this is that he claims, he doesn't know anything about it. Now, what Trudeau should have done was demand answers from China and say that he'd hauled China's ambassador to Canada and demand answers. No, that didn't happen. He did nothing to the sort to express concern. Instead, he's interested in CSIS was leaking to the media, to the French media in French. He said it's certainly a sign that security within CSIS needs to be reviewed, and I'm expecting CSIS to take the issue very seriously. It would be better if Justin Trudeau took China election interference seriously. Instead, when questioned about this matter, he goes into the full Donald Trump hyperbolic mode, saying we've got the best, most robust elections in the world, the biggest and the best. Now, of course, Trudeau also talks about the process that he's put in place to ensure that Canadians will find out about threats to our elections. But that task force with the top civil servants didn't highlight any of this to Canadians. The Trudeau government, despite knowing about this, didn't expel the Chinese diplomats involved. The ones boasting, in essence, that they did nothing. They said nothing until all of this became public. Of course, Trudeau is only reacting to this because now it's in the public. It's not like it wasn't discussed before the intelligence community started leaking, but it wasn't taken seriously until the Conservatives raised the issue of China targeting several of their election and 2021 candidates, including Kenny Chu True. He said in multiple interviews, including that he lost his seat due to a disinformation campaign spread in Chinese language media and on social media apps like WeChat. Now, there was a lawyer figure in the Conservative Party's election campaign in 2021, and he was appointed to work with the task force looking for interference. And his name, Solomon, said issues of election interference specifically within the Chinese diaspora were raised but ignored at the time. So here's a quote from Walid Suleiman. I quote, After the election and before the new government was sworn in, we spent more time providing everything we had to the task force and appropriate security channels. We were met with shrugged shoulders and complete ambivalence. It was truly unreal. And that's Waleed Suleiman. Well, that continues to be the response from the Trudeau government. You shrug your shoulders, say everything's good, and hunt down the whistleblowers who are telling you the truth that can't be good enough for Canadians. Of any party, for any integrity of our elections, this has to be nonpartisan affairs. Even if only one candidate was elected or defeated due to outside interference, every Canadian should know about it. Anyways, guys, there's a story from the Toronto Sun from Mr. Lilly, Brian Lilly. Okay, great stuff. Great stuff. Have a good one, guys. Ernie Racing News, February 23rd.